Hey, what's going on guys, and welcome back to another actor breakdown. This is the series where I go through some very well-known films, identify all of the actors, and show you where you know every face from. In the last video, I asked you guys what animated feature you'd like me to cover, and several of you suggested Shrek. Which is a great idea, as there's a mixture of well-known talents behind the mic with some juicy career tidbits I want to share, along with a lot of unknowns, who you'll quickly find out aren't really unknowns, if that makes any sense. So tuck into your wee drat stew and let's settle this over a pint. This is every voice actor in Shrek and where you know them from. Let's go.
Yeah. Like that's ever gonna happen. What a load.
So let's start with the big guy. Mike Myers was not cast as Shrek. At least not originally. Yeah, I'm sure many of you will know about the story of American comedian Chris Farley, who had actually recorded many lines of dialogue for the Green Ogre before sadly passing away due to a drug overdose at age 33. Farley was best known for his stint on SNL and had his fair share of hit comedy films like Black Sheep and Tommy Boy.
We're gonna show this world a thing or two. We're gonna show.
Now, some of Chris Farley's recordings of Shrek actually have surfaced online, so I decided to sync them as best I could with the existing movie footage to give you an idea of what Farley's Shrek might have sounded like. Check this out.
People see me and they go, "Ah, help! A big, stupid, smelly, ugly ogre!" They judge me before they even know me.
But did you know that another actor recorded dialogue for Shrek before even Chris Farley did? And you'll never guess who.
I hope you're prepared, Pinky, for tonight's plan to take over the world promises to be extraordinary.
Yeah, Maurice LaMarche, best known as the voice of Brain in Pinky and the Brain, recorded scratch dialogue for Shrek. His voice was meant to accompany the movie's storyboards to serve as animatics during the film's pre-production stage. And for those who are thinking, well, yeah, but LaMarche as Shrek never would have happened, he was just a simple placeholder. Well, there are instances when scratch vocal performances make it into the final film. Rosalie Chang of Turning Red fame is one such instance of this. Pixar intended to eventually replace Chang, but her voice works so well for Mei Mei, they decided to stick with her. So LaMarche as Shrek could have happened. I mean, the dynamic between Shrek and Donkey and Brain and Pinky is kinda similar when you think about it, so it could have worked.
Stop singing!
I told you to stop playing that.
But let's finally move on to Shrek's official voice actor, the one and only Mike Myers.
Men of Farquaad's stature are in short supply.
Now Myers, you'll definitely know for things like his stint on SNL as well.
Thank you very much for your kind applause on my entrance. I always like a warm hand on my opening.
And for his very famous roles in the Austin Powers and Wayne's World series.
Contractor, no. I will not bow to any sponsor.
But Myers started out his career very young, appearing in a bunch of commercials as a kid, like in this one for Wrigley's Chewing Gum. And there's a specific line in this one that a lot of people today find a bit creepy.
Hi, Joey.
Hi, Jack. Want some gum?
Candy flavor? Oh, it's Wrigley's.
Yeah.
Well, you graduated to the big stick.
Wrigley's Spearmint.
Spearmint straight.
Yeah, that was a grown man telling a prepubescent boy that he's just graduated to the big stick.
Sweet Jesus.
Moving on to 1975, which marked Myers' first on-screen appearance in the Canadian sitcom King of Kensington.
What'd you get that top badge for?
25 cents. Now you want 4 tickets or 8?
Oh, and in 1985, there was a made-for-TV movie that chronicled the life of John Lennon and Yoko Ono, and a before-he-was-famous Mike Myers randomly turns up as a starstruck delivery man.
I've worn out your Imagine album. It's great. Thanks.
Okay, let's make our way through the Ogre Hunters here, starting with...
Hold on!
Do you know what that thing could do to you?
So that guy is played by one of the film's editors, Sim Evan Jones. He's edited many other well-known films like the Shaun the Sheep movie and the Chronicles of Narnia series, and it's in those films he got a small voice role as this talking mouse.
May it please your High Majesty, we will not bear the shame of wearing an honour denied to our chief.
Then we got this guy.
Yeah, it'll grind your bones for its bread.
Now that's the voice of Clive Pearse. He's best known for hosting an American reality show called HGTV Star, which was all about interior design.
It is workday one for Katie and Chris, and the deconstruction and then reconstruction of their dated kitchen is about to begin. Don't worry, I'll be extra careful.
And finally, there's this guy.
Backstage! Back! I warn ya!
So that's the voice of Peter Dennis, who sadly died in 2009. Dennis was an actor of film and stage, and on stage, he was best known for his award-winning one-man show, Bother, the Brain of Pooh, where he performed selections of stories from A.A. Milne's Winnie the Pooh books.
Now, this bear's name is Winnie, which shows what a good name for bears it is. But the funny thing is that we can't remember whether Winnie is called after Pooh or Pooh after Winnie.
On screen though, you might have seen him in things like the 2004 comedy drama Sideways, and you might remember his one-off appearances in sitcoms like Seinfeld and Friends.
I mean, I was sitting there. But you got up. But I never left the room.
But you left the chair area.
Oh, and here he is portraying Sir Isaac Newton in an episode of Star Trek Voyager.
I demand an explanation. Why are you dressed like this, young man?
5 shillings for the possessed toy. Take it away.
So this captain of the guards, believe it or not, is played by the same guy who voices Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, this is American voice actor Jim Cummings, who's best known for taking over the voice duties of the famous bear after Sterling Holloway's run.
But I can only do it for a small smackerel of honey.
But to simply call Cummings the voice of Winnie the Pooh is doing him a huge disservice, as he has more voice roles than I could possibly count. He voices Tigger.
The Hunnidicker would need the hero Pooh Bear, and I'm the only one.
Darkwing Duck.
Now just push that button and I'll toss it out. This way?
No.
Tasmanian Devil. Dr. Robotnik.
I have machines of all kinds. Marvelous machines. They can do things you would not believe.
But the performances from him that really blow my mind are his singing double performances, where he takes over from actors who can't quite hit those big notes. Here's a great example of this with Scar in The Lion King, who's voiced by Jeremy Irons, but Cummings takes over for the Be Prepared number. And the switch of voices here is seamless. You'd never know the actor changed mid-song unless you were told about it.
You won't get a sniff without me! So prepare for the coup of the century!
That is mental. Props to Cummings and the casting director there.
This cake is so small.
So the only one of the 3 bears that has a speaking role is Baby Bear, who is voiced by American voice actor Bobby Block. Block has only done very minor roles, such as voice acting some of the background fish kids in Finding Nemo, and this piglet in Home on the Range.
That's our can, and Jeb took it.
But he did have one lead role, voicing the titular character in Whatever Happened to Robot Jones.
Why do boys and girls need separate bathrooms? What is the difference between girls and boys anyway?
Oh, this is gonna be fun. We can stay up late, swapping manly stories, and in the morning, I'm making waffles.
If you don't know this actor, then you must be living under that rock over there.
That is a nice boulder.
Enter the one and only Eddie Murphy as Donkey.
You're a mean green fighting machine, and together we'll scare the spit out of anybody that crosses us.
Former SNL cast member.
Police!
Just a minute!
Stand-up comedian.
Everything is a question, too. Hey, what am I, an asshole? What am I, a fucking jerk? Get the fuck out of here. It's right here, all right?
And star of many hit films, Coming to America, The Nutty Professor, Trading Places, and Beverly Hills Cop, to name but a trifling few.
I never been in no cell that had a phone in it. Can I stay for a while? Because I ordered some pizza.
Speaking of Beverly Hills Cop, did you know that Sylvester Stallone was initially attached to star in it? Yeah, he apparently wanted to rewrite the script to be less comedic and more of an action film, and this is what led him to starring in the movie Cobra instead. But back to Murphy, did you know that he has 10 kids? 10! I'm serious, look! Murphy has more kids than Donkey does, what the hell?
Look at our little mutant babies!
And one of those kids he had with a Spice Girl, Mel B. Yeah, and this was a bit of a controversy back in 2007, as Murphy didn't believe the kid was his initially. He had to do a DNA test and everything to confirm. Needless to say, the two are not together anymore.
Celebrity marriages, they never last, do they?
How prophetic. But an often overlooked aspect of Murphy's life is his singing career, which got started because of a $100,000 bet with Richard Pryor that he couldn't sing. So Murphy responded with the Rick James produced Party All the Time, which peaked at number 2 on the American Billboard Hot 100. And in the liner notes of this album, you can find this excerpt. To Richard Pryor, my idol with whom I have a $100,000 bet. No, motherfucker, I didn't forget. Yeah, and while Murphy never got a big hit single after that, he did go on to collaborate with lots of famous artists, like Snoop Dogg, and even Michael Jackson did a song with him.
I can talk. I'd love to talk. I'm the talkingest damn thing you ever saw.
Okay, this one blew my mind. The unnamed old woman here is played by the late American actress Kathleen Freeman, who had a beyond expansive film career, appearing in a bunch of Jerry Lewis comedies like the original Nutty Professor.
Are you all right? And if you are, where are you all right?
Here she is as a diction coach in Singing in the Rain.
And I can't stand him.
And I can't stand him.
Can't.
But modern day audiences might recognize her better for her later roles. This is her in Gremlins 2. But my personal favourite of Freeman's roles? Oh, it's gotta be her in the Blues Brothers.
Get out. And don't come back until you've redeemed yourselves.
I'm not a puppet. I'm a real boy.
So Pinocchio is voiced by American voice actor and director Cody Cameron. Cameron plays Pinocchio in all of the Shrek movies, and also lends his voice for all 3 of the Little Pigs.
Lord Farquaad, he hoofed and he poofed and he signed an eviction notice.
Outside of Shrek, Cameron directed various animated features like Open Season 3, in which he voices the character Mr. Weenie.
Yeah, but it's not so bad. Mine friends, it's so good to see you all.
And he helped co-direct Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. He lent his vocal talents there as well, providing the, sounds of Dill Pickle and Barry the Strawberry.
Hey, I can fly!
He can fly!
So I feel like a right moron here, as it's only after doing research for this video, I finally realized that this kid is Peter Pan. Like Peter Pan saying he can fly. I only just got the joke after my millionth rewatch of the film. And you'll also notice that he's trying to pawn off Tinkerbell as well. Anyway, Pan is voiced here by an American voice actor by the name of Michael Galasso. He had some minor live action roles. This is him in an episode of ER.
She promised to stay with me when I get the new chemo.
And he had a small role as a kid called Sam in Our Real Monsters.
Look at me, you guys!
It's a far cry from the farm, but what choice do we have?
Well, it's not home, but we'll do just fine.
So it's difficult to pinpoint who is who here, but amongst the 3 blind mice are 3 actors. Firstly, one of them is actually voiced by Mike Myers. Yeah, he's essentially talking to himself here. If I had to guess, I'd say this one is Myers.
What a lovely bed.
But I can't be sure. Another one is played by British animation director Simon J. Smith. Now Smith is a CG animation veteran, with his work going as far back as 1993, as you'll find his 3D handiwork in the music video for Pet Shop Boys Go West. And he's directed many animated features himself. In the Shrek universe, he directed the Far Far Away Idol short, and he then helped co-direct Penguins of Madagascar and the Bee Movie.
The title came from Jerry when he was having a dinner with Steven Spielberg. He was very excited, and there was this long conversation, and he just said, what about a movie about bees called Bee Movie? And Steven goes, it's a great idea. And he's, I was just joking.
And it's in the Bee Movie you'll find his other two voice roles. This is him as this truck driver.
You hear something? Like what? Like Tiny screaming.
And this is him playing the bee, Chet.
Son, here. Just initial that. Thank you.
And the last mouse is played by English voice actor Christopher Knights. Knights worked on the film as an editor and also provides the voice for Thelonious.
Pick up a dream, my lord.
And outside of Shrek, Knights is best known for playing Private the Penguin in the Madagascar films.
My head just went to pitch up your voice a little bit higher and try and make it cute, try and make it cuddly, and, you know, for all intents and purposes, it worked.
Cheesy dibbles! Oh, thank you!
Dead broad off the table!
Where are we supposed to put her? The bed's taken.
So this is bizarre. This dwarf of the Seven Dwarfs is played by an uncredited Richard Stephen Horvitz, who you might know as the voice of Alpha 5 in Power Rangers.
Zordon, the Power Rangers are in trouble. Nobody enters the command center without a power coin.
He's done a ton of other recognizable roles as well, like Raz in Psychonauts.
Sorry I'm late. I don't want to disrupt your briefing, Agent Oleander. Agents 9, Vodello, please, continue.
Billy in The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Idaho!
Daggett in The Angry Beavers.
This is great, Norby. I can say whatever I want and there's...
Nothing they can do.
And Zim in Invader Zim.
This is what I like to see, Gur. Pathetic humans fleeing in terror at the sight of Zim!
Such a high-profile voice actor for such a small and uncredited part. Quite bizarre.
What?
So the big bad wolf is played by one of the film's producers, Aaron Warner.
Shrek took 5 years and over 500 people to bring to life, so I'm incredibly honored to be up here on behalf of the entire team.
Warner helped produce all of the Shrek films and voices the wolf in every one. Now, Warner's role as a producer had him working on many features. Highlights include Independence Day, True Lies, and Titanic. But as a voice actor, he only had one other minor role, as the character Thomas in the 2014 feature, The Book of Life.
Are you sure? I think these are the detention kids.
That's enough. He's ready to talk.
One John Arthur Lithgow plays Lord Farquaad.
Is this not the most perfect kingdom?
Now before I talk about Lithgow, 2 fun facts about Farquaad. Firstly, I'm not the first to mention this, but by God is his logo eerily similar to the Facebook one. Remember, Shrek came out years before Facebook did, so perhaps this is where Zuckerberg got his inspiration? Who knows? And secondly, did you know that Alan Rickman was offered the role of Farquaad? Yeah, he was all set to do it, but this was 2001. His services were needed elsewhere. Okay, let's talk about Lithgow. Lithgow's acting career spans decades. His very first on-screen appearance was back in 1972, in the film Dealing of the Berkeley to Boston 40 Brick Lossback Blues. Try saying that 3 times fast.
Lousy stinking son of a bitch.
You lousy stinking son of a bitch.
Then Lithgow went on to act in film, TV, and stage. There is so much I'm gonna miss here, but amongst his billion roles are Dr. Dick Solomon in Third Rock from the Sun.
Oh my God! I'm gorgeous!
You might remember him in Cliffhanger.
Now take your toy and find our money.
I gotta mention his performance in the 1985 Santa Claus movie.
We're gonna give them away free.
Oh, that's fantastic. How do you turn your face so red so fast?
For free!
He is his voice in Rugrats in Paris.
Kira! Madame Le Bouche wants her pickles. Now!
He played Winston Churchill once in the TV drama The Crown.
And she had to make a decision right then and there in the room. You could see the wheels turning behind her eyes.
And he's been nominated for an Oscar twice in his career, one for his performance in Terms of Endearment and the other for The World According to Garp, in which he plays a trans woman.
You're Jenny's son.
Yes, I am.
Oh, I just finished reading your novel. I think it's wonderful.
And this one blew my mind. Did you know that John Lithgow once played Yoda? Yeah, like Star Wars Yoda. It was in a radio series that aired in the 80s that retold the events of the first 3 Star Wars films. And it was official and everything. George Lucas approved of it, and many Star Wars actors reprised their roles, like Anthony Daniels, Billy D. Williams, and they even got Mark Hamill. Frank Oz, though, wasn't interested, so Lithgow inherited the Yoda role.
I was looking for someone.
Looking? Found someone you have, I would say. Oh.
It was also surprising to find out how many roles Lithgow almost got. He was in the running to play Doc Brown in Back to the Future, Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs, and Hades in Disney's Hercules. And that last one is especially bizarre, as Lithgow had actually recorded all of the dialogue for the part, before being outright replaced by James Woods.
Isn't this pleasant? I was just supposed to come along as an observer. Right now, what I'm observing is very odd.
It's unclear as to why, but perhaps Lithgow wasn't right for this one, because Woods just makes that role his own. But all's well that ends well, because Lithgow obviously got his chance to shine at another animated villain just 4 years later.
I'm the Gingerbread Man!
You're a monster!
So good old Gingy is voiced by American director and voice actor Conrad Vernon.
It would be great if they made one for the Gingerbread Man, but I don't think there's anything in the works for a Gingerbread Man movie.
Now, on the directing side, Vernon went on to co-direct a lot of animated features, such as Monsters vs. Aliens, Madagascar 3, Sausage Party, and Shrek 2. And you'll find Vernon's voice all over his movies. There is so many to count, so best I show you a compilation of his roles.
That would be the dog's breakfast, Your Majesty.
Gingy!
Me?
I heard Tom Wolfe is speaking at Lincoln Center.
When will it end? When he stops drinking us.
And when he stops using us. You don't want to fucking know.
Time for you to meet today's eligible bachelorettes. And here they are.
So one Chris Miller provides the voice of the Magic Mirror.
Yours for the rescuing, Princess Fiona.
Not to be confused with Christopher Miller, the guy who often collaborates with Phil Lord on films like The Lego Movie and the Jump Street series. No, different guy we're talking about here. This Chris Miller, confusingly enough, has directed films himself. He's the guy who directed Shrek the Third and the Puss in Boots movie, and is also known as the voice of Kowalski in the Madagascar films.
We're only 500 feet from the main sewer line. And the bad news? We've broken our last shovel.
Miller also has 2 other minor roles in the Shrek series. He briefly voices Geppetto earlier in this film.
This little wooden puppet.
And in Shrek 2, he voices the head cook during the dinner scene.
Dinner is served.
So, funnily enough, the screams of terror of this Duloc mascot are provided by one of Shrek's directors. Yeah, this is Kiwi Andrew Adamson, who also voices one of the ogre hunters from earlier.
Alright, let's get it!
And this captain in Shrek 2.
More heat, let's go!
Now, Adamson co-directed Shrek 2 as well, but he also worked as a visual effects supervisor on Joel Schumacher's Batman movies.
One of the things that Batman and Robin has really given us the chance to do is explore new techniques and new imagery because it's such a fanciful setting.
And then went on to direct the first 2 Chronicles of Narnia films. Yeah, has anyone else noticed how many roles in this movie are played by movie directors? It's weird. And what's crazy about Adamson is that his career could have been completely different. You see, before he got his start in the industry, he was about to enroll in a university degree in architecture, but he missed the enrollment deadline due to a car accident, so he opted for a film career instead. It's crazy to think that this accident is what led to one of the most influential animated movies of all time. So two people provide the voices for the Duloc choir, Hope Levy and Jill Bogard. Bogard I can't find any information on, unfortunately. There is a musician on YouTube by that name, but I can't confirm if it's the same person or not. But Levy, on the other hand, is more well known, and you might have seen her in a few things, such as one-off appearances in shows like Criminal Minds and the sitcom Up All Night.
I found these.
What?
Get off her jock, Gail.
Out, Gail? Are you kidding? Did you not?
But her most recognisable acting gig has got to be her voicing Rebecca Chambers in the Resident Evil 1 remake.
He seems to have been bitten by a poisonous snake, but the size of the bite mark is huge.
And if you want to hear Levy sing more, check out her YouTube channel.
No time for love. No time for love. It's a sad, sad state when you got no time for love.
So this lively wrestling fan is played by a Welsh actress and producer called Jacquie Barnbrook. Barnbrook has worked on tons of things, but on the top of her resume would be her production credit for The Chup Chups, which won Best Animated Short at the 2003 Oscars. If you happen to remember this, prepare to OD on nostalgia. I think I had this on my old Men in Black 2 DVD.
As long as we can live in harmony.
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be... Oops.
And Barnbrook has had a ton of minor acting roles, from one-off appearances in shows like Californication, and here she is with Andy Samberg in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Hey, ma'am.
Thank God. Here, hold this. The lasagna's burning.
Okay,
Get the dog, but don't let it touch the baby.
And she's had some small voice roles too, like in the films Beowulf.
I wonder if Beowulf's strength is only in his arms, or in his legs as well. All three of them.
And the Robert Zemeckis version of A Christmas Carol.
Oh, I know who it is, Fred. I know. It's your Uncle Scrooge. Yes!
This beeth our first meeting. Should it not be a wonderful, romantic moment?
So Princess Fiona is of course played by American actress Cameron Diaz. Diaz has cemented herself as one of the most bankable of actresses, and you'll know her for her on-screen debut in The Mask, and her very recognisable performances in films like Vanilla Sky, Charlie's Angels, Being John Malkovich, and There's Something About Mary.
Is that a hair gel?
But you all know about that. What do you not know about her? Well, prior to acting, she got her start as a model while she was still at school, and apparently one of her schoolmates was Snoop Dogg, of all people. And yes, she apparently bought weed off of him.
I might have sold her some of that white girl weed.
What's that? What's white girl weed?
You know, sticks and stems and seeds.
Like medical oregano?
Yeah.
Did you also know that Diaz was originally going to play Sonya in the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie? Yeah, she got secured the role and everything, but as she was training for the film, she broke her wrist, which meant she couldn't continue the physically demanding part. So the role instead went to Bridget Wilson Sampras, who I didn't realise was the wife of tennis player Pete Sampras until doing this video. But I digress. And at the risk of turning this into a celebrity gossip video, I think it's also worth noting the several men Diaz has dated over the years, like Matt Dillon, Jared Leto, Justin Timberlake, and the man she is now married to, Benji Madden, known for his backing vocals and lead guitar role in the rock band Good Charlotte. And if you're thinking right now, wow, Cameron Diaz, that's a name I've actually not heard in a while. Well, that's because she is officially retired from acting. Seriously, she hasn't starred in anything since 2014. But she's been keeping busy since then, as she went on to write several health books. And in 2020, she launched her own wine brand called Aveline. And I actually considered buying some of the wine for this video to try it out. But then I saw the $84 price tag for a measly 12 cans. Well, all the more booze for Diaz, I guess. Okay, so Dragon is a weird character to talk about here, as first of all, no actor is actually credited for the role. And yeah, Dragon doesn't speak, but she does roar and growl and that sort of thing, so someone clearly provided their voice for her. So I did some digging, and 2 names popped up who contributed their vocals to Dragon's performance. Firstly, there's Foley artist Gary A. Hecker, who specialises in providing creature and animal voices in many feature films. Here he is providing horse sounds for the Ridley Scott Robin Hood movie. This guy is mad talented. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube he's featured in that show off a great behind the scenes look at his work as a Foley artist. I highly recommend checking them out.
I also use my voice a lot.
I'm just gonna carve with my voice.
Okay, we're gonna play back.
Here's water, the crackling, and then my voice.
Now, the other actor I've seen listed as providing vocals for Dragon is voice actor Frank Welker, who is best known as the voice of Fred in Scooby-Doo.
The first thing we'd better do is split up and search the school for clues.
And what else has Welker done? Oh, a few things. And by a few things, I mean literally hundreds of roles. Seriously, check out his wiki page, it's longer than you could imagine. But some highlights include Megatron in Transformers.
I would have waited an eternity for this. It's over, Prime.
Shao Kahn in the Mortal Kombat movie.
Weak, pathetic fools, I've come for your souls.
Dr. Claw in Inspector Gadget.
Gadget is on his way. Boulder, are you ready?
And he's also providing the voice for Scooby-Doo himself these days.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo!
Welker also specializes in voicing non-speaking animal roles, hence the dragon gig. Check this clip out of him providing lion sound effects for The Lion King. Yeah, I bet you all thought they got actual lions for that, but nope, turns out all you need is some guy in a mustache roaring into a trash can.
Great. Yeah, that was good.
And it's not just lions he does. Dogs. Cats. And monkeys. And Welker also happened to provide the sounds for another infamous monkey. Yeah, Abu and the Nazi monkey from Raiders are voiced by the same guy.
He's a Nazi! Get him!
I'd highly recommend checking out Welker's voice reels because there is so much I've skipped here. So here we have a singing double. Yeah, while Cameron Diaz has sung before in her films, like in Annie for example, her voice probably wasn't Disney enough for this scene. So in comes the uncredited American singer-songwriter Sally Dworsky, who literally is a previous singer of a Disney song.
He's holding back, he's hiding, but what I can't decide.
Yeah, that's Dworsky as Nala's singing voice, and she also takes over for Sandra Bullock's character, Miriam, in The Prince of Egypt.
Many nights we've prayed, with no proof anyone could hear.
You also might be familiar with her song, I Found My Way, which was used on the soundtrack to the 1989 film, The Wizard.
I'm standing on the edge of tomorrow, leaving far behind my yesterday.
Please, monster! Can't you see I'm a little busy here?
So before I get to Robin Hood's voice actor, many of you might be wondering why the infamous English hero has a French accent. Well, Andrew Adamson was asked about this once, and his response was pretty much, why the fuck not? Yeah, it's played for laughs. Though there is a theory that the reason he speaks with a French dialect is that following the Norman conquest of 1066, French dialects will have stuck around for quite a while in England, especially with nobles. So, ironically, it's possible that this played for laughs interpretation of Robin Hood might be the most accurate portrayal of him we've ever seen. It's unlikely, but it's possible. Anyway, French actor Vincent Cassel plays him here, who I'm sure many of you will recognise as he's been in a ton of things. Cassel came to prominence back in 1995 for his lead performance in the crime drama La Haine. Then Cassel split his time doing a mixture of French and English speaking roles. On the French side, he acted in films like the biographical crime film Mesrine, the period action horror Brotherhood of the Wolf, and did you know that 3 years before the live action adaptation of Beauty and the Beast, the French did their own interpretation, with Bond girl Léa Seydoux playing Belle and Vincent Cassel playing the Beast.
Baisse les yeux! Baisse les yeux! Je sais ce que je suis. Résiste-moi tant que tu veux. Tu seras à moi.
Yeah, it's odd that Vincent Cassel goes on to play the Beast, when in the Merry Men song, he sings this lyric.
When the beauty's with the Beast, it makes me awfully mad!
That is weird. I wonder if Cassel realised this when he signed on for the role. And to add to the coincidences, this isn't the only romantic relationship with a Bond girl Cassel has had, for he was once married to Monica Bellucci, who he divorced in 2013 and then proceeded to marry someone 30 years younger than himself. And you thought DiCaprio was bad. Wow. Now, on the English side of productions, Cassel acted in films like Eastern Promises, Black Swan, and in Ocean's 12, he got to show off his dance skills, for Cassel is quite skilled in the art of capoeira. Yeah, real-life Eddie Gordo we got here. And finally, Cassel has done other voice roles, specialising in dubbing for French versions of English features. For example, this is him as Diego in Ice Age.
Pousse-toi, tourne vers moi. Où il est le bébé? Allez, voilà!
Now, the other Merry Men also happen to be credited, so let's make our way through them. One of them is played by Guillaume Aretos. Probably butchering that one.
Making a movie is a very messy process, very complex process, and very human process.
He was one of Shrek's production designers, and also voices this receptionist in Shrek 2.
Are you feeling at all degraded or oppressed?
A little. We don't even have dental.
Another one of the men is played by Matthew Gonda, a Franco-American and a jack of all trades. He's a writer, actor, dancer, and singer. Check out this 80s pop number he did.
Don't turn around, oh, oh, oh. The commissar's in town, oh, oh, oh.
Another Merry Man was played by the late Calvin Remsburg. He was best known for directing 4 theatre productions of Sweeney Todd, and he had some minor on-screen roles. This is him in an episode of the sitcom Cheers, and here he is in an episode of The X-Files.
Poor bastard.
Merry Man number 4 is played by Jean-Paul Vignon. Vignon appeared in loads of movies and shows. For example, this is him in the 1968 film The Devil's Brigade.
À votre santé. Now you owe me a drink.
And here he is waiting Picard in Star Trek The Next Generation.
Some wine, some cheese?
I'm not very hungry. I really came for the view.
Perhaps what you hunger for is not on the menu.
Vignon is also an avid singer/performer. Here he is on The Ed Sullivan Show, performing his top 40 single, Don't Cry Little Girl.
Oh, don't cry, little girl, don't cry, little girl, over him.
And the final credited Merry Man was played by John Bissom. Bissom was a longtime contributor to the Los Angeles musical theatre scene, appearing in stage productions of things like Holiday Inn, The Full Monty, and here he is as the Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz.
And perhaps I deserve ya, and be even worthy of ya, if I only had brains.
Tragically, however, Bissom committed suicide in 2012 after he had been suffering from depression. Please, people, if someone you know is going through some shit, give them a hug and tell them how much you appreciate them. It can go a long way.
We gather here today to bear witness to the union.
And last but not least, we have the Bishop, who's voiced by the late American actor Val Bettin. Bettin was known for putting on an English accent for a lot of his roles. In the 1950s, he hosted a children's television show called The Storyteller.
Hello, my friends. Welcome once more to the bookshelves of The Storyteller.
Though you might recognize him more as Dr. David Q. Dawson in The Great Mouse Detective.
But Basil, how could he fit into such a tiny little...
Doctor?
Basil, you astound me.
And he also portrayed the Sultan in many of the Aladdin sequels, taking over after Douglas Seal had passed away.
You have proven to be a man of strong moral character. That is why I've decided to make you my new royal vizier.
So there we go, that's every credited voice actor in Shrek and then some. It's as I was doing research for this video, I ended up feeling quite disappointed with how so many of the voice actors weren't credited for their work, and it made it quite difficult to track every name down. So if I've missed a few names, that is why. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, know I've broken down other movies as well. Here's some links. And a big thank you to you all for watching, and much love to my Patreon supporters especially, because I could not do this without you. Take care of yourself guys, and I shall see you in the next one.